Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this opinions video where we take a look at your thoughts, your theories, your opinions following last night's Raw. So this was the go home for Wrestlemania. Let's get straight into it. I don't think we can ignore this down here though. So Wrestling World in his hands said this was meant to be the return of the Fiend, and that's a really great image of the Fiend mask. I'm guessing taken from the documentary. Just looks awesome, doesn't it? Bit distracting, but I'm sure you wanted to just have a little look at that. So we're going to start with Wyatt as well. Not the greatest go-home show ever. It did well to build matches other than the Bloodline. I think Priest and Finn will lose the titles because of the issues in Judgment Day, and Priest will still fail his cash-in, then be replaced by Andrade for not being a good leader. That's really interesting because I'm really struggling to know what we're doing, actually, when it comes to Judgment Day. I'll be the first to admit there's so many moving parts. I mean, Dominik's with Legado. They were on Raw. Obviously, we had Andrade coming in. There seems to be a breakdown in communication. They can't seem to deal with the Ricochet problem. Kind of feels like JD isn't really pulling his weight. There's just a lot going on. So I really don't know how it's all going to shake out. So definitely something that I'm interested to see what people are thinking. So Wyatt, shout out to you. Ryan said, still an entertaining Raw, even though this episode was more or less almost feels the same as last week. Bloodline Rules match was fun. Rock's selling bumps like $1 million. Roman joined the beatdown. And Cody definitely gonna need a plan C at Mania. 9 out of 10. Oof, he's gonna need a plan C. We are the Woe Movement says 8 out of 10. How dare Priest speak to Dominik that way? The build for the main events has been disappointing, except some moments, like the Mania conference and Rock's attack last week. But that ending was great. Not Raw related, but Bray's documentary was heartbreaking. And I see a bright future ahead for Bo. Yeah, I mean, just touching on the Bo thing, I'm very excited to see what we're going to do. I mean, you can fantasy book that till the cows come home. You know, we could do this, we could do that. I think we've got to... the big thing for me is we've got to establish what does he want to achieve. Like, what are we trying to achieve? Is he trying to get a world title? Is he trying to get after Randy Orton? Is he trying to free someone, or like, what is he trying to achieve? Going after a title would probably be the most simple, but why does he need that title? Why does he need that title? What's the purpose of that title? Championships, they just feel, I don't know. I mean, I know that Bray wanted championships, and you know, I mean, that WWE championship, when he gets it, it means a lot to Bray, right? I mean, you can see it in the documentary. So it's not that championships don't matter. I just always felt like the Fiend was on a bit of a different mission. The Fiend was kind of trying to achieve other things. So yeah, I don't know. The Bray thing's very interesting. I'd like to know, what does Bo want to achieve, and then, you know, let's set about achieving it, and then obviously we'll totally support him on that. Right, Belinda says, Judgment Day has got me on the edge of my seat with all the new storylines they could follow, but I don't think they're getting ready to dismantle the faction, and I don't think Dom Dom is going anywhere. It's all just a tease. Interesting. Elia Punk, shout out to you. Only 14 minutes ago. Look at that. Fresh. Another good show tonight. Call me stupid. Okay. But I was the only one who felt like someone is returning in the main event when Seth said there's always a plan B. Well, a good theory on that, actually. There's always a plan B is a very famous line. That's the line that Triple H said just before the Shield broke up. So it's a line that catches your ear. when you hear it, and that's where it was said. I mean, you're going back to 2014, you're going back 10 years ago. So there's always a plan B. People are like, is that an indication that Seth's about to turn again, you know? He didn't turn on Raw, of course, but I don't know, does that mean that the turn is coming at WrestleMania? So that line, there's always a plan B, definitely catches the ear. Sweet Warriors, shout out to you, said to me, it was okay, but I'm fed up of the Bloodline storyline. Ethan said it was absolutely incredible. It was so damn good. Loved it. 10 out of 10. Rock and Roman whooping 2 clowns. Can't wait for WrestleMania. Ooh. Logan James said, good Raw. My rating would be an 8.1. And good segment in Chad and Sami. And I've a feeling that Sami could win the Intercontinental Championship. One question, is Julia still going to WWE? Yes. So she's believed to still be going to WWE, but I believe she's in Noah right now. I think I read she was in Noah doing some work there. And she's expected to do a few bits still over in Japan. And I don't know, I mean, it won't be anytime soon. I'm not expecting her at WrestleMania. I'm not expecting her on the main roster. I think she'll go to NXT. So I think that she will do what she needs to do in Japan. And then, I don't know, honestly, the summer, June, July, we might see her then arrive in NXT. But that's just guesswork, to be honest, just from different reports that I've read. Kiki said, Raw was great and it was good with the Bloodline, and I give it a 10. Oof. Male Tail Thong said it was a good show for me this week. Not as good as last week. Maybe last week's Bloodbath should have been on this week's Raw. I give this week's Raw a good 7. People's elbows out of 10. And have you been in attendance to any past WrestleManias? I haven't, no. I would like to go to a WrestleMania, but it's not the most important thing. For me, I really, really want to go to WWE World. And that sounds crazy, because why would you want to go to WWE World rather than WrestleMania? And the answer is because I love the past, I love history, I love what we're doing now, and I'm sure I'll love what we'll do tomorrow, but I also love what we did in the past. So to be able to see some of that ring war gear, or some of those props, or some of those championships, or some of those sets like the Firefly Funhouse, or I don't know, Piper's Pit, the barbershop, to see some of the old entranceways, maybe to get in a ring, get your picture taken in a ring. There's a few bits. I mean, to get in an official WWE ring, one that's the actual size, that's got WWE on the turnbuckles, you've got the ropes, and you're just stood in a ring, and you can like imagine what it must be like to be a wrestler and get like a picture of you in a ring. Oh, I'll take that over WrestleMania, you know. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Sounds crazy, but I think if you've been a fan as long as what I've been a fan, I suppose you've seen WrestleManias come and go. I mean, there will always be another WrestleMania. Granted, I might not be here, right? At some point, I am probably going to pass away, right? I hope it's not soon, but at some point, I'm probably going to pass away. So, yeah, there's probably only so many WrestleManias left for me, but I don't really think that way. I think more about, like, I would love to see some of those artifacts, some of that memorabilia. So that's my dream. So no, I have not been to a WrestleMania. Male tail thongs, have you? That's my question. Ryan said, overall, a great Raw. Loving that the odds are being stacked against Cody, because that'll make his winning so much sweeter. Can't remember the last time I was this excited for Mania. Roll on the weekend. Prakar said, sad. No Liv Morgan at WrestleMania. Was hoping for her to be added to the title match. Yeah, I think she still might appear. I might be naive. She might not. But I am wondering that as soon as Rhea wins, because I think Rhea wins, then it wouldn't surprise me if Liv Morgan makes her way down, confronts Rhea, and basically lets Rhea know what her next feud, her next challenge is going to be. Because we know that Liv Morgan's on the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. So I feel like she is likely next. Which is also part of the reason why I don't think Becky wins at WrestleMania. Harry said, Deja, looking well, mate. Thanks, mate, and you. It feels like the way the documentary came across, the vibe of the promo, it seems like the reign is coming to an end this weekend. As much as it's exciting for Rhodes to win, trust me when I say this, 2 months and people will turn on Cody. Well, it's going to be very challenging. Because, to be honest, I think if you can do a good feud, tell a good story, get people, like, really emotionally involved, then, you know, you should be able to weather that. It's undeniable that everyone's just so desperate for him to get to the belt. As soon as he gets there, there is going to be a dip-off. I mean, there is, right? As soon as he achieves his dream, then what do you do, right? But I disagree with people that say that's it. There's nothing you can do. I think that those people maybe don't have a future in creative, because we're going to have babyface champions. We're going to have boyhood dreams come true. And so that bit's easy. Getting people to the belt, putting obstacles in their way as they climb that mountain and get into that's easy. What do you do when they're at the mountaintop? How do you keep them exciting when they're at the mountaintop, right? If you think you could book that, then maybe you've got a future in creative, because anyone can book the climb. So I think that for me, that's, you know, if I worked in creative, that's a challenge that I would relish. I would love to get my teeth into that. So for me, I don't subscribe to this idea that Cody, like, as soon as he finishes the story, that's it, he's done, right? It might work out that way. It might be that it all falls apart, and then we'll look back and go, they just did not have the right story, did they? They didn't have the right follow-up. But there is the right story, and there is the right follow-up. And it might involve a bit of out-of-the-box thinking. Who knows? But let's see if he gets the title first. Let's see if he climbs that mountain first. We'll worry about after once we get there, right? Although not WWE. If they know that he's finishing the story, they need to be worrying about after right now. In fact, probably about a month ago. So hopefully they've got a plan. What would Jay, shout out to you, said the ending of all endings. TJ said Dakota is definitely the next women's WWE champion. BQRE. I'm going to go bore, but I'm not sure. 6 out of 10. Wasn't bad. Wasn't that good either. I do like the way they have Cody get whipped 2 weeks in a row, because it, big number, confirms Cody is winning at WrestleMania. I feel that way as well. I think the way that he got absolutely smashed definitely makes you think, well, he's got to get something back. I mean, surely they're not going to beat him down like 2 weeks in a row and then he loses at WrestleMania as well. Surely we're just beating him down so that it makes it even more satisfying when he wins. So everything looked and felt quite good for Cody to get the win at WrestleMania. Bino said, after watching the Roman documentary, I don't think he's dropping the title. Wow. Bino, shout out to you. Gunther said, think they would have made it much better off if they did last week's episode as the go home. This episode felt pretty weak outside of the Ricochet against Ivar match and the ending. Jordan said, I would like to say that Roman Reigns needs to lose at WrestleMania. I say him being champ is long enough. It would be interesting to find out why he is being kept champion for so long. Time to let Cody finish his story. Well, I think part of the reason why he's being kept champ is because the ratings, the finances, everything's just popping off. I mean, you've got people getting married that are walking down the aisle like pretending to be Roman as like all the guests are acknowledging. You've got DJs that are like dropping tunes that's like Roman's tune, and you know, they're kind of standing there with the wands in the air. Like, it's become a movement, if you will. Like, Roman Reigns is cool, not even just amongst wrestling fans. Like, they appear to have kind of managed to make him cool kind of outside of the wrestling fan base as well. And I think that they've had great ratings whilst he's been champ. They've had, I mean, what records haven't they broken? I feel like every single time I turn on a show, they're telling me that it's the biggest Survivor Series ever. It's the biggest gate in New York ever. It's the biggest gate in, you know, last night was the biggest Raw, grossing Raw ever. Like, it's just record after record after record. I mean, we keep hearing about how this, you know, wrestling's cool again, wrestling's back. Well, you got to look at who's the champ at this point, and it's Roman Reigns. And I feel like he has been a big part of this success. The bloodline has been a big part of the success that we're enjoying right now. And there's others, of course, but I feel like the bloodline definitely has played its part, more than played its part. So it's a gamble, actually, taking the belt off Roman right now. If you take the belt off Roman and you put it on Cody, there's no guarantees those numbers are staying strong. I mean, those numbers could absolutely fall apart. So you're a brave man if you're Triple H, because sun's shining at the moment. You know, is it time to head indoors already? Is it time for that change? Or do you just stick with Roman for that bit longer? You know, it's funny, if this was Vince used to like running things into the ground. You know, some would be funny, but about 20 weeks later, the jokers wore thin, but Vince is still trying to get some out of it. Or, you know, oh, we really like this person. Like, you know, you push them and, like, you know, they get a bit overexposed then. You know, oh, we really like John Cena. People didn't like John Cena, like, 15 years later when he had won everything and multiple WrestleMania main events. So, or some did. But, yeah, my point is that they ran it into the ground. You know, if Vince was booking right now, there's a chance that they would just keep running Roman into the ground. But I really can't see Roman winning again, to be honest. Not another year. You know, he's kind of had it long enough now, I agree. I feel like it's time to tell some new stories, so Jordan, yeah, good point. Shout out to you. Earlier in the show, The Rock tried to be relatable to get a babyface pop, but it didn't work. So in true Dwayne fashion, he resorted to cuss him. What's this? What is this? What's this video? What's this? Oh, it's him. We can't really play that. We can't really play that, unfortunately, because of copyright reasons. So I will just take your word for it, my friend. Pro Wrestling News said Raw was great, no doubt. Pride versus Final Testament match. Philadelphia Street Fight was announced for Wrestlemania 40. Seth versus Solo match was Bloodline Rules. So why didn't the match end? No one knows. Solo could do a pinfall easily. Which match or matches will bore you, or are you less interested in? Good question. Probably the United States Championship, because Logan's fine, but he's not someone that I really look forward to watching. I think that he's got some tricks up his sleeve, and that's about it, really. But he normally puts on, they make him, you know, look like $1 billion. But it's not someone that I'm way more excited for Gunther and Sami, yeah, for example. I'm way more excited for Roman and Cody. I'm way more excited for the women's championship matches. So I'd say that. I mean, Logan against someone in a singles match, yeah, I could get with that. But this is a triple threat. And the two other guys that are in it, I'm really not bothered about them winning. I don't care if Randy wins the United States Championship. I don't care if Kevin wins it. Like, just keep it on Logan. I'm really not bothered. If it was like one of those Chad Gable situations where I was desperate for him to win, then that would have been really cool. But no, not bothered. So that one, I'm probably like, yeah, whatever. I suppose in a way, Final Testament against Bobby's group as well. I think I really want Final Testament to win. I really like Carrion's promos. Haven't really heard much from Bobby. Haven't really heard much from the Street Profits. Don't really feel like they've clicked as a unit. Don't really feel like much has changed. Like, they still come out in same sort of ring gear. I think, is it the same entrance music? Same Titantron? Like, they might have got rid of the red cups, but it's not much of a change. So, I don't know. That, to me, I wish that Bobby's group just felt cool. Just felt better. Just felt cooler. Just felt better dressed. And I wish they felt more like the Hurt Business. I think that's what I want. I want them to be the Hurt Business 2.0. Hurt Business 2.0 taking on this Final Testament. You know, that could be fun. But it's not quite that. It's just the Final Testament, really, against Bobby's group, which just hasn't really clicked. So that might be another one that I'll watch it, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it. But it's a street fight. That makes it a bit more interesting. But really, you know, again, that can't compare to the championship matches like Bayley and Io, or Becky and Rhea, or Sami and Gunther, or, of course, the main events. So those are a couple of matches that come to mind. I think the ladder match will be good. Tag ladder match. Looking forward to that. AJ Styles, LA Knight. Should be fun. Crowd will be up for that. So that should have a good atmosphere. 6-woman tag. It's interesting to see Jade, won't it? That'll be interesting. And we haven't seen loads of Dakota because of her injury. So, yeah, just a bit about that. I'd have to say that 6-woman tag's probably further down my list than, you know, towards the top. But if we get chance, I wonder if a bit of a ranking of matches most excited for. That could be a fun video to do. I feel like we've pretty much just done it, but yeah, that could be fun. Right, Theodore, shout out to you, said, love the Rhea and Becky brawl. Ending was good and brutal. Carrying on from last week, but would have been a huge pop if Punk came out at the end when the whole arena was chanting his name. Sadly, he is not part of the Bloodline story, so 8.5. Yeah, there would have been a big pop, but what's he meant to do? He's got his arm in like this, do you know what I mean? It's like Terminator. So I don't know what he was meant to come out and really do. Can't really beat up Roman and Rock whilst his arm's in this contraption. So, and he ain't going to beat him up with one hand, is he? So, there would have been a pop if his music hit and he came walking out, but he can't do anything. And as you said, he's not part of this story. So, it made sense to me why he didn't. Watson said, if this is the last Raw Roman is on in this title reign, it truly has put him as the GOAT. The trial of Sami Zayn is my favourite segment of all time. It's Bryn again, said the excitement each show is giving me leading into Mania is unexplainable. The show was as good as it should be to keep the ball rolling forwards. The biggest event ever. I can't wait. Here's a video to describe how I felt about Raw last night. I did watch this earlier. It's quite emotional. I mean, I'll only play it a few times because it does sound like something off Pornhub. So there we go. I did enjoy that. It's very good. It's Bryn again. Very, very good. Right, Brady said, I'm excited to see what's next in the Indi Candice storyline. Next week's Raw is unmissable because you never know what could happen. Yeah, I completely agree. Darius fan said, this image speaks volumes. The Rock and Roman Reigns, two of the very best to ever step foot in a WWE ring. Raw as a whole was entertaining once again. Not as entertaining as last week, but still goods. That Raw crowd was electric. WrestleMania week is here. Love it. Chris said, was Phone Guy as distracting for Seth as he was for me? Is it a guy? I can't tell. Is that a guy? Is it this person? Is that a guy or a girl? I mean, if it's a girl, you probably wouldn't mind as much, would you? In all fairness. Probably, I can't tell, I don't know. I actually didn't notice him, so I wasn't really distracted by it. But then I was making a lot of notes, because I have to make a lot of notes for my review straight after the show. So I didn't actually spot this. But I don't know, I can't tell if it's I don't know. I don't know. I keep looking, going, oh, I don't know. If you're telling me it's a guy, then it's a guy. But they could also pass as a lady. So if they are watching, shout out to you. And Gio the Theo said this wasn't as compelling as a WrestleMania go-home show should be. Sadie's tag team match got interesting as we finally got to see Rock get physical and get into a brawl. The other feuds just added tiny amounts of drama, but the Sami and Chad scene was great. Well, amazingly, we've kind of got to the end. I was just really getting into the flow. And we've got no quote tweets either. Oh my god. Guys, I think we might be done. Well, we're not totally done because we do have to look at the scores, don't we? We do have to look at the scores. So, look at this. Not bad. I haven't had a chance to double check this SmackDown score, but it will be about this area. This is still from Friday. So it's still red because I haven't confirmed it, but that's where it was on Friday, and it won't have changed much. So, you know, it'll be around this area. And this is where SmackDown... so that's where SmackDown is, sorry. This is where Raw is going at the moment. I gotta say, I think this is higher than I would have had it. I would have had it, like, further around here, but I think it's the final kind of segment that's doing a lot of heavy lifting. And to be honest, we do see that. You know, it's kind of like you can watch a 2-hour, 50-minute show, and if that last 10 minutes is absolutely captivating, it does really, really help the score. You do, I don't know if it's human nature, but you really do kind of focus more on the last thing you saw. Like a good ending just so massively helps the score of the show. So at the moment, it's coming in there, which is quite a high, you know, it's bang in the middle of great at the moment. 69% great. So you might agree, you might disagree, but at the moment, listen, the community has spoken, and that is where it's going. Match score wise, we do try to go through this now during my reviews, because I actually fill this out during the live stream, right? I don't know that Sami did win, you know. I think that if you look at the official results, which I have now done, they say that Seth Rollins and Solo Sikoa descends into a brawl. They don't actually announce a winner. They just sort of say that it descends into a brawl. And they say about this Sami and Bronson match that Sami Zayn versus Bronson Reed ends when Gunther interfered. Like, again, it doesn't say who won or how it ended. It's like it just ends when Gunther interfered. It's kind of like no one really knows who won. Like, I don't know. WWE don't seem to know themselves. What I've just told you is like from their official website as well. So none the wiser on the results of our main event or Sami against Bronson. You could make an argument that Sami won because he got attacked. But the problem is, by the time he got attacked, had he already been out the ring for 10 seconds? Because then Bronson already would have won by count out. So that's why these are a bit like, I'm not sure. So basically, 6 matches, 5 of them in the good to okay range, and one of them, our main event, got great 61%. I think that match should get penalized with the fact that it's still going on. No one won. I think that's a problem, personally. But it seems to be something that doesn't affect or bother anyone else. And I think people really enjoyed the beatdowns. So, you know, each to their own. It was a go-home show. I've already given my thoughts in my review. It was a go-home show, and it really felt like it did what it needed to do, to be honest. I really you know, I had a good time. I was not bored. Had a good time on the stream. Looking forward to NXT and Wrestling Escape Pod tonight, of course. And really everything else that's coming up this week. I mean, it really is just non-stop. So, yeah, on we go. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feels a bit weird to be like clocking off after just half an hour, but it's kind of nice in a way that we get in, do what we need to do, and we get out again, you know? It's kind of nice. I like it. So, yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support as always. And I'll see you later for the NXT stream or one of the other billions of streams that we'll be doing this week. So, thanks for watching. Bye for now.